What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking a couple of little stories here and there, right? We're going to talk about Vince Zampella passing a little bit here. We're going to talk about NVIDIA GeForce Now changing their business strategy. We're going to talk about Battlefield 6 using AI art. They've been caught red-handed. We're going to talk about the Indie Game Awards strips Clair Obscur Expedition 33 of their Game of the Year award because they use generative AI. And then we're going to talk about EA company shareholders approve a $55 billion sale of EA. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Thank you, First Loser. Appreciate that. Over on Twitch, thank you very much for the tier 1 sub over there. Appreciate it. All right. What's going on, chat? Let me see who's all here. Travis, Eclipse, good morning. Kylo, good morning. Let's see who else is here. As I scroll down, Sarge, good morning. Ashraf, good morning. Altern, Mr. Z, Kylo, First, Jesse Mack, Just Enough. Good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone. Brain Eclipse over there with the subscribe Prime for 3 months over on Twitch. Appreciate the support on all platforms. Thank you very much. All right, so let's start off with the sad news. Okay, sad news. Devastating industry leader, including EA's Respawn, Infinity Ward, paid tribute to Battlefield lead Vince Zampella, a Titan legend of the industry. Vince Zampella, untimely passing is sending shockwaves through the games industry. There's never really a timely death, right? All death is pretty much a surprise unless you're really like old, and when you're old, you're like, you know what? It's lived a good life type of stuff. Industry leaders are reaching out at the tragic passing of Battlefield series head Vince Zampella, who was killed in a car accident on Sunday, December 21st. Zampella is the industry veteran who was also instrumental to the creation of Call of Duty franchise, with credits going all the way back to 2002's Medal of Honor. Also co-founder of Respawn, oversaw development of Titanfall 2, Apex Legends, Star Wars Jedi series under EA. Zampella was head of Battlefield from 2021 until his death. Okay, Zampella's passing is sending shockwaves through the industry and associated studios, friends, peers sharing heartfelt tributes and social media. In the statement on Twitter, Respawn said that the team is heartbroken by the tragedy. Vince was also a titan of the legend of the industry, visionary leader, force who shaped teams and games of Call of Duty, Titanfall, Apex Legends, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Battlefield. His impact reached beyond any one game of studio, reads the statement. He will be remembered. Vince is how he showed up every day, trusting his teams, encouraging bold ideas, and believing in Respawn and Battlefield. Most importantly, he championed what we believe is right for the people behind the studio and our players because it mattered. So meanwhile, the official Battlefield Twitter account released a statement calling Zampella a creative leader whose work shaped generations of players and helped define what modern shooters act games could be. The statement continues, while the impact reached far beyond any one game in studio, it will always be remembered as Vince for how he showed up every day. We already read that part. All right, so this man, everything he touched basically turned to gold. You know what I mean? So from Medal of Honor, for Call of Duty, Jedi, they're all successful, all very done. Successful, but we say like Titanfall wasn't successful, but it was successful. It was a very good game. And then they brought him over to Battlefield. So my condolences to his family. They'll never, ever see this, but anybody that sees this and knows them or whatever, hard time during the holidays, man. Hard times during the holidays. It's like worse. You know, it's never a good time when you have a passing member of your family, but during the holiday season, that's rough. It's absolutely rough. Going from that, real quick, what does this mean for Battlefield? Obviously, they're like, oh, man's dead. But we're a gaming channel. We talk about games and what it means and stuff like that. So EA put all their eggs in the basket for Vince Zampella. Zampella was leading and did a very good job with Battlefield 6, getting it back to what it was. They brought him in after Battlefield 2042 completely bombed. It was a travesty for the Battlefield franchise. They put all put all the eggs in the basket. This man was bringing back Battlefield, and now EA's got something to think about, because without this man, and I believe this is the guy who flipped the switch and brought everyone back, and turned it around. So now EA, obviously, business is business, but they were about to switch this whole entire franchise to a yearly thing. Can they still do that now? Is their vision still going forward with the lead not there anymore? So that's all I'll leave it at. I'm not going to dive in too far deep into it. We can talk about it down the road when it happens. But yeah, Vince Zampella, one of the greater devs out there, completely changed the landscape of video games for the better, is now no longer with us. So my condolences. Rest in peace. All right. So going from that, we might as well talk about Battlefield 6. Yeah, he died in a car wreck, Sarge. They don't know the full story yet, but they think he was speeding or whatever, and, stuff happens. I always hate talking about death, but it is what it is. All right. Battlefield 6 fans suspect that EA used generative AI in the cosmetic pack for the shooter. It says, I would really prefer if they have to no sticker than some low-quality AI-generated garbage. Now, this is a big topic because AI is the new organic. You know what I mean? Is the new, what's the other thing that people like? Climate change. You know what I mean? Like, AI is the death to video games, but it really isn't. AI has been in the video game industry for over a decade, over 40 years, really, because every little bit of the computer, okay, is using some sort of AI for coding and whatnot, right? So here we have it. Okay, Battlefield 6 fans have spotted what they believe is an AI-generated art in the winter-themed cosmetic pack for a hugely successful multiplayer shooter. Of course, EA would do this. Okay, and you're like, well, how do you know? I don't know if they show you, but if you can see this picture right here, let me see if I can zoom in here for you. Okay, can I zoom in? Oh, I can't. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me zoom in. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is a gun with 2 barrels on it. Okay, and they're like, wait a minute, why is there 2 barrels on the gun? Okay. So it says Battlefield in a Reddit post titled "Remove this AI shit from the store." Will Caro uploaded an image of a player card sticker named Winter Warning, which comes as part of Battlefield 6 Wind Chill cosmetic pack. The sticker depicts a soldier aiming down the sight of an assault rifle. Upon closer inspection, however, the assault rifle clearly has 2 barrels, leading Will Caro and other Battlefield 6 fans suspect that the sticker art is AI generated. I mean, it would have to be generated, right? It would have to be AI generated, because what artist would draw a gun with 2 barrels like that? You would think they would do the research and be like, hey, does that assault rifle have 2 barrels? The answer is no. Okay. Accidentally replication of certainly an error common amongst AI-generated images, as anyone who has seen AI-generated pictures of humans with far too many fingers will understand that said, this image is only evidence of Ricardo's cites, meaning the mistake could potentially be down to human error. Okay, if it's human error, though, that person shouldn't be making guns. Let's be honest, right? And obviously, they're not making guns; they're making stickers for guns. Nonetheless, it makes it thought clear about the apparent use of generative AI. I would literally prefer to have no sticker than some low-quality AI-generated garbage, they say. You can look at the BO7 and see how many favor the AI-generated rewards wanted with them. Ricardo is referring to Activision likely used the AI to generate player cards. No, they used AI generation 100%. Other elements of Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which also contribute to the mostly negative Steam rating and the score of just 40% in PC. Gaming Call of Duty Black Ops 7 review. Okay. It's worth noting that Black Ops 7 apparent AI-generated artwork isn't the only problem that the shooter suffered from. The latest entry in the lead by truly appalling campaign, scattered shot multiplayer experience struggling to provide much of that new. I love that this is I love how this is a article about AI for Battlefield 6, but they've completely turned it around on Call of Duty. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing, chat, how they can just hijack an article and just turn it around to something else? Do you see the narratives that people do? And I love Battlefield, right? I'm a Battlefield guy. I hate Call of Duty, but I can call it out when I see it. Okay. So it says the thought of the sticker was meant to be a broadly concurring response. Well, there goes what to keep supporting this game. Okay. It says that the fact the sticker is only part of a cosmetic pack does not change how they feel about the apparent use of AI to create the said pack. Well aware, I don't have to buy it or play the game, but I am more than happy to ditch the game entirely if it's what the route they go. I mean, they already got your money. They're not going to get any more of your money, but they already got your money. Mission accomplished, right? In October, VP General Manager of DICE, Rebecca Cortez, told the BBC that players would not encounter generative AI content in Battlefield 6, which she was talking about the actual game, not the stickers. However, the CEO of EA has previously expressed his excitement over AI tech, right? And Cortez have followed up her promise by stating that AI was very seducing and that we could also, if we, quote, if we can break the magic with AI, it will help us be more innovative and more creative. Hence does represent the change of perspective of EA regarding the EA content Battlefield 6, or as Cortez said, that players would see generative AI content in the game. Did she mean that the release version specifically? Either way, like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, did she say, yeah, we didn't use any AI at launch, but afterwards it's open game, right? Either way, the sticker is Either way, if the sticker is AI generated, it would surely require EA to disclose generative AI use of Battlefield 6 in the Steam page in accordance to Valve's policy, which the page doesn't currently do. Okay, so there's a bunch of different problems, but yeah, let me see if I can get this picture again nice and big for you so you can see it. I don't know if I can get it any bigger than that. Maybe I can here if I open up in a new tab. Yeah. Right, so I don't know why someone that knows art, how to draw, who can look up a picture of what this gun is, okay, to look at, there shouldn't be two barrels there. So obviously, I don't think you can admit this, right? You're either admitting that you use generative AI to sell a sticker in a game, or the person that made the artwork needs to get fired because they don't know what they're doing. Which one is it? Right? Obviously, it wasn't a person, because if they had a person, then the manager needs to get fired, because someone needs to look at their work before they turn it in for the final product. And if the final product is this, and they're like, yeah, that's good, right? Then they also need to get fired. Okay? People need to take accountability for it. Either you're accountable for using AI, just say it. Just say it. Just say, yes, we used AI. We were trying something out. Sorry, we'll do better. Okay? Or fire the person that did it wrong. Right? That's just it. Right? This juggling of, and what the problem is, people will compare this, though, to what they're saying that what Larian Studios, what we talked about yesterday, about concept art and stuff, what they said they didn't do anything. Or Expedition 33, which is the next story we're going to be talking about. Okay? But everyone's afraid of AI, even though AI is here. People use AI every single day. But this is the point that everyone's standing on now, right? They're drawing the line in the sand. They're like, if any game uses AI, I'm not going to play it. Which they don't even know what they're talking about. The same people that talk about that stuff don't even know there's two barrels, right, on this gun, right? They're like, oh, it looks like a good picture. It looks great. I don't know what you're talking about, right? They have no idea. Until someone said, hey, did you know that's AI? They'll be like, what? Well, I can't support this game anymore, right? So what do you guys think? Is this a big deal? Is this not a big deal? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. All right, chat. What do you think? Do you think it's a big deal that EA is using generative AI potentially in their artwork and what they're selling you? I mean, because obviously it is a big deal, right? Like, yes, it's AI. Just say it. Just say, yes, we used AI, but they're charging money for it. Not only are they charging money for it, but they're charging money for it, and it's a shit picture, right? It's a shit picture. Let me see what you guys are saying in chat. Let's see. GB the Ville says, I wear a foil hat sometimes, and it does suck to lose a person like that way. A Ferrari going too fast, or maybe shareholders are making moves. I don't know if it's the shareholders making moves and stuff like that. I mean, EA just got purchased for $55 billion. I don't know why you would get rid of the golden goose. Do you know what I mean? There was no conspiracy. Man drove too fast, crashed in, and sucks. Yeah, that's what happened. Krabby says, it's interesting that some people are up in arms over Expedition 33, yet those same people crucify Arc Raiders for the same shit, for the same thing. Adlib shit. Julie says, AI art can be created millions per second. It's completely different than the human creating it by hand. And when it comes to cost of time, using AI should lower costs of consumers, not fill greedy CEOs. 100%. They're trying to surpass certain people, put them in and go, oh, we can make more money because we can make every week we could do cosmetic updates, new stickers, new things, right? To put on the guns. Super easy. Right? People are doing it on YouTube right now. People are on YouTube are trying to make AI-generated content that they just throw up, right? With dogs reuniting with their families, animals attacking people, just weird things happening. And they do it real fast just so they can make money. That's what it is, right? But the difference between YouTube doing it and a corporation like EA doing it is that the people that are making the videos on YouTube, okay, probably are not making money, but it's not costing you money. It's just costing your time. Where if you're playing the video game and you're paying for a pack, $5, $10, and you're getting something that's not created, right? One is, both are time, but one is time and one is time and money. All right, so great. So you don't play it, and we won't miss you. Great, as 2 barrels. This is a shit picture. Travis says, 30, you ever notice that it's always the same bullet point for people against AI? Almost like hating it as a cult mentality. Isn't that funny? Yeah, it's weird to me because people do that when they don't understand something. Morning, Dolphin. What's going on? Just Enough says, most important question is, who is buying badges like this? I have no idea. But that doesn't mean we just like hand wave it like Obi-Wan Kenobi. These are not the droids you're looking for. These are not the artwork you're looking for. The problem is they're putting it in the game and they're charging money for it. That's the problem. Right? Artists should come out and say, my bad. I didn't do my research. I put 2 barrels on the gun. My mistake. My mistake, but of course there's nobody that did it. It was a prompt put into a computer. Krabby says, it's all about not quality, not art, but money. Joseph says, paid calling cards. Get the fuck out of here. I thought you typed money twice. Nope, just once. Just once. All right, so let's go to the next one. Yesterday, Nate came in and said, did they really take the award away? I thought they didn't take award away. I thought they were up for nomination of the award for Indie Game Awards, right? But they actually took the award away, okay? If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5, okay? This is our last show before Christmas, so there's no show tomorrow or Thursday. There's no podcast this week. We'll be back next Monday for our first show, or not our first show. We'll be back next week, and then obviously we start the new year next Thursday. So, all right. So, Indie Game Awards strips Clair Obscur Expedition 33 of Game of the Year over generative AI. Dev says placeholder textures were patched out after slipping through a QA process. Okay. I mean, let's be honest. it did slip through their QA process, meaning they kind of just like rushed out the door. That is their bad. Okay, but they did fix it, and it was a placeholder, and they said, oh, we missed that one, right? Again, you got to check out your stuff. Okay, it says fresh from receiving the Game of the Year award from the Game Awards in 2025, Clair Obscur 33 has stripped of 2 awards from the Indie Game Awards after the use of generative AI hit the headlines. Sandfall Interactive record-breaking role-playing game launched with some placeholder textures built in generative AI. The developer patched them out 5 days after release, insisting they made the cut by mistake. Okay, this went under the radar until recently, and they owned that. Okay, when comments from Sandfall co-founder and producer, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. We'll call him Fran. Okay, speaking of El Pas, for the article published in July, we used some AI, but not much. The key is that they were very clear about what we wanted to do and what we invested in. And of course, the technology was allowed us to do things that were unthinkable a short time ago. Unreal Engine 5's tools, assets have also been very important in improving the graphics, gameplay, and cinematics. Okay. It also resurfaced the backlash for comments from Larian's boss, Sven, awake the developer's high-profile announcement of Divinity of the Game Awards. Original news came from the Bloomberg interview, which Jason Schreier held back information, which Vex said that Larian was pushing hard. Bloomberg phrasing on generative AI, even though it wasn't led to big gains in efficiency. Specifically, the studio was said to be using technology to explore ideas, flesh out PowerPoint presentations, develop concept art, and write placeholder texts. Again, Bloomberg's phrasing. Okay. Vex later addressed the backlash as he prompted the AMA to answer questions from fans, all while a light was also being shined on Clair Obscur, which also led to us in the Indie Game Awards. Clair Obscur had won Game of the Year, a debuted game from the Indie Game Awards, but both awards are now retracted. Explaining the decision, the Indie Game Awards said, and this is from the Indie Game Awards, it says, the Indie Game Awards have had hard stance of use of the generative AI throughout the nomination process and during the ceremony itself. Okay, well, let's put a pin in that for a second. The interview with Clair Obscur from July said that what they did. They knew what they did beforehand. So why would the Indie Game Awards even nominate them at that point when they already knew that they already used AI? Okay? This is such a stance, okay? This is like a people that don't really believe what they believe. They're coming out because this is the thing to do, right? They're trying to be their part of the thing. I'm standing here. I'm protesting. What are you protesting on? I have no idea. I'm just here. Okay. They're trying to make it seem like they actually care about what's happening with AI, even though we knew what Expedition 33 did ahead of time. And anyone with 2 eyes, 2 ears, and a brain in between them, okay, knows that Expedition 33 didn't use generative AI in the way that they're saying. Okay, that the indie games are saying that they're doing. They used it in a thing. They left it in the game by accident. It was during the process. Okay, but the game itself, the actual game that people love and played, there was no generative AI used. Okay, it says when it's submitted for consideration, a representative of Sandfall Interactive agreed that no generative AI was used in development. When was the process? When did they? I would love to know. I don't know if they say in the article because we just read the article for the first time. I would love to know if they submitted it before or after July when they had the interview. Okay, in light of Sandfall's Interactive confirming that the use of generative AI art in production on the day and the Indie Game Awards 2025 premiere, this does disqualify Clair Obscur Expedition 33 from its nomination. While the assets in the question were patched out in a wonderful game, it does go against the regulations we have in place. As a result, the IGA's nomination committee has agreed to officially retract both the debut game and the Game of the Year awards. This is such a horse shit, okay? Because remember, this game breaks the narrative of AAA gaming and also of indie devs. Okay, it breaks the narrative of complete the game industry. Because a game can't be this good. You can't have a game this good in the industry because it makes everyone else feel bad. Okay? Each award went to the next highest ranked in respective category. So Sorry We Closed now as a debut game, and Blueprints, Sorry We're Closed now won the debut game, and Blueprints now has Game of the Year. Meanwhile, El Pas has updated the original article to include a statement from Sandfall clarifying it used generative AI in the making of Clair Obscur. The studio states that it was also a contact with You have to go back and go to every single game. Okay? If they used ChatGPT for anything while they were making this game, disqualified. If they used any kind of thing to come up with anything, I don't care if it was 2 squares in a circle for placement from a AI program, it's disqualified. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying here? People don't understand what the hell they're talking about when it comes to what they've used in AI. They think they like typed in some stuff and all of a sudden Expedition 33 came to life. Okay? We're not there yet, chat. We're not there yet. Okay? Maybe 3 years from now, 5 years from now, we'll have graphics like this. I've seen some things. Okay? But an actual game that's actually functional. Okay? So the studio states that it contacted El Paso on April 25th, 3 months prior to the publication. During these exchanges, Sandfall Interactive indicated that it had used a limited number of pre-existing assets, notable 3D assets sourced from the Unreal Engine marketplace. None of these assets were created using artificial intelligence. Sandfall Interactive further clarifies that there is no generative AI created assets in the game. When the first AI tools became available in 2022, some members of the team briefly experimented with them and generated temporary placeholder textures upon release. Instances for the placeholder texture was removed within 5 days. Okay, so again, if the IGA is going to take this stance, they better make sure that no other developer in any way, shape, or form searched anything with ChatGPT. Okay, or used any AI whatsoever to do any kind of research, because that would be development process and they would be disqualified. So upon release, instances of the placeholder texture, but there were missed during quality assurance process. And here's Vivek's latest statement in full. It's been a week since the announcement of Divinity, our next RPG, became lost in translation. Layering DNA is agency. We don't need to read this because we read this yesterday with Larry and with Legendary Drops stuff, right? I don't know why they're going back and forth between the two. Okay. So here it is. Excellent. The AI-generated textures in Clair Obscur were indeed placeholders and were replaced with custom assets. The other AI-generated poster that was presented in the starting area, don't have screenshots of it now, was also removed. Okay. Here it is, guys. There's the AI-generated stuff. All right, here it is. I don't know if you guys can see it. That's it. Not the girl, not the background, not the thing. The newspaper articles. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears as though Clair Obscur Expedition 3 used generative AI for these textures. Okay. There it is. That right there is what lost Game of the Year. Not the voice acting, not the story driven, not the gameplay. Nope. This picture right here is what lost for the game. And they're going to stand on this. They're going to stand here. The IGA is going to stand here and say that no other developer used AI in any way, shape, or form. Do you see the narrative? I think they've done more harm than good here for the IGA, okay? Because the people making these choices are absolute morons, okay? The use of generative AI in video game development is one of the hottest topics in the industry last month. We reported the Assassin's Creed publisher Ubisoft was forced to remove an image found within the Anno 117 and continued AI-generated elements after fans complained. And Call of Duty Black Ops 7 players took to social media and complained all about the AI-generated images they found across the game, following a trend of AI images from earlier this year. The Alters developer, 11-Bit Studios, and Jurassic World Evolution developer Frontier Development, meanwhile, similarly faced fan backlash when they caught using undisclosed AI images. EA CEO Andrew Wilson has said that EA, or AI, is very core of our business, and Square Enix recently implemented mass layoffs and reorganized, saying that it's indeed be aggressive in applying AI. Dead Space creator Glenn Schofield also recently detailed his plans to fix the industry in part of VI, the generative AI in game development. And former God of War developer Megan Morgan said that we don't embrace AI. I think we're selling ourselves short. As the debate around the generative AI use to build video games rages on, Tim Sweeney, boss of Fortnite developer Epic Games, has weighed in on the call of Valve to ditch all AI-generated content disclosure for Steam games. Okay. Valve's rules means developers must disclose their use of generative AI content on the game's Steam store page. For example, the Steam store page of Embark Studios, Arc Raiders, includes a note from a developer on how the game uses generative AI content during the development process. We may use procedurally AI-based tools to assist with the content creation. In all such cases, final product reflects the creativity and expression of our own development team. Okay, so it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, chat. Let me real quick. Let me go to I'm gonna go to the Steam page real fast. Let me go to Steam real fast. I want to see if Clair Obscur has the tag like Arc Raiders has. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is only, wow, $20? No, that can't be right. Let's see. Do they have a tag? There's no tag. There's no tag on Clair Obscur that says they used AI.
You should never have come.
So how, right? They didn't use AI, so they don't have to use it inside the actual thing. They didn't tag it because it's not used in the actual game. It was a mistake that they removed it. Yet, they don't have the generative AI here. Right? And real quick, let me go to Arc Raiders. Let's go to Arc Raiders. Is it over here? Oh, wait, let me expand it. Let me expand. Does it say realistic character combat future inventory crafting atmosphere? Where's the tags for Arc Raiders? Am I looking in the wrong spot? That's user defined stuff. Where's the tags at? At the bottom of the page. Okay. Okay, right here. Generative AI disclosed. Okay, so let's go. Now let's go back to Expedition 33. Okay, let's go back down here. No. There's no tags here. Yeah, there's no tags. Right? There's no tags for Expedition 33. So now, what happens now?
You're only going to make things worse.
Right? What happens now? Right? So IGA took their awards away because they said they used AI, but they didn't use AI because they would have to report that to Steam. And because they didn't report it to Steam, did they use AI or they didn't use AI? They didn't use AI. They used it for early on testing, not for the actual game itself, right? For concept art, for placeholders. So, by definition, Expedition 33 doesn't have the tags, meaning they didn't use AI. So, IGA took their awards away even though they didn't use AI. Am I right? So I'm confused, chat. Anyway, I think this does more harm than good for the IGA. This doesn't affect Expedition 33 developers at all. Do you know why? Do you know why, chat? Why doesn't this affect Expedition 33 at all? Because it doesn't really matter if they took their rewards away. The people that played their game know what it is, right? They know what it is. They know the game is a good game. Make a game, sell a game. But the IGA taking their thing away from them now looks petty. They look terrible. And everything they do ahead going forward now is going to be tarnished because of what they did. right? Because they can just take awards away from people. It's not like they cheated. They didn't cheat. They did exactly what everyone else is doing in the industry. Remember, if you use ChatGPT, you used AI in your development process. So you better make sure that nobody on your computer at your work ever used AI in any way, shape, or form while you're developing a video game. Otherwise, you cannot win the award. Let's see how that goes 2 years from now when everyone in the industry is using AI. And I mean everyone. Okay? Guess what IGA is going to have to do? They're going to have to change their restricted rules because that means everybody. Okay? And I would love to know if the IGA uses AI in any way, shape, or form, because that would look pretty hypocritical if while they're judging people using AI or not using AI, if they used AI themselves. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Just Enough says the Indie Awards also retracted other awards. Some guy used the company to print cartridges for him, and the company metal from drones to build them. Okay, careful, IGA. You may ruin your credibility. Yeah, they're done. They're already done. Z. Yeah, they didn't want it to be the one ring to rule them all. Yeah, it's just very strange. Bishop Void says, I had to uninstall the game when I see the newspapers in the game. Did you, Bishop? You're like, you know what? This game's fucking amazing, but those newspapers, I'm done. I'm done. I don't even think most people even walked past and noticed the first 5 days. What's going on, Argus? What's going on, Aku? Adra says, if AI can make artful games like Clair Obscur, I'm all for using AI in games and development. Exactly, Astra. We talked about this yesterday, right? If you're having fun in a video game, let's just say this, right? You buy a game, you're like, this game looks amazing. You buy the game, you play the game. You're like 40 hours in the game. You're like, this is the greatest game I've ever played in my entire life. Okay? And then all of a sudden someone says, did you know they used AI? You'd be like, oh, this is the worst game ever. I can't play this. I feel icky. Like, what are we talking about? 99% of people don't give a shit how the sausage is made. They just care if the sausage is good or not. That's it. They should just change the name from the company to EAI. Nice, Krabby. It's good. Argus says AI is inevitable. Almost every business in the world has a vested interest in developing AI and reducing the highest costs of the companies being payment of employees. 100%. 100%. Rolka says, yeah, David Jaffe has a video on it where it was just like a placeholder on the telephone pole or something in the posters. Yeah, I showed it. I showed it on the screen, Roadkill. AI placeholder is also removed from the game after launch, so it's factual that it isn't made with AI. The assets is handmade. No, you can't have facts, Argus. You can't have facts of they actually they replaced it and put actual artwork in there. You can't do it. You can't make sense of actual facts with people. Roadkill says they lied. The game is trash. It deserves to be stripped away. AI slop. Oh, ridiculous. Krabby says, Mike, you're trying to tell me that a bunch of game journos didn't do the proper research before posting some bullshit story? Color me shocked. Ray says, IGA is a food store where I live. You're on spot, bro. Follow the narrative. Why maybe they strict their the policies. There's also real that they don't want no AI slop. Sort of them for what they're doing. Roadkill, you understand that the AI has nothing to do with the actual game. It was a placeholder that they removed and put actual artwork in the game. There's no AI in the game. There's no AI in the game. Eclipse says, yeah, even Kingdom Come Deliverance came out and said they used AI. Yeah, but they don't care. They're like, go fuck yourself, IGA. 30, you mean like Travis playing 400 plus hours of Fallout 4 and calling it shit? Yeah, that's different. That's different. Travis is doing that just to say stupid shit. Obviously, he likes the game. Otherwise, he wouldn't have played. It was 350 hours, I think, by the way. This is the purpose of AI. Make games cheaper while keeping the same quality. Kyle says, sadly, the price of games keeps going up and AI only saving the corporations money while we pay more. Yes, but that's why everyone's so against this, Kylo. Everyone's so against Expedition 33 because they made a game for $10 million. Okay, $10 million. It won all the awards. You don't need 1,000 people making a video game. You don't need $350 million to make a video game. Right? They didn't even charge full price for the video game. It completely destroys the narrative. They can't have this succeed. If we're being factual, they use generative AI. They also made it in the game. I do think they're taking the award is petty. Are you talking about the IGA grocery market? I got one of them across the street. Yeah. They're not smart enough to be told facts. It's just a narrative. The AI is taking away GPU, RAM, and SSDs. The better they use AI, make games better. Here's the best part. The most games are using generative AI to make frame rates. Right? They're using generative AI to make frame rates. They're making fake frame rates inside the game to make it look like it's doing something. So by that definition, all those games that do generative frame rates are gone. They cannot be nominated in any games whatsoever. Argus says most of the games that cost $300, $400 million to make aren't worthy of the price tag. There's similar games that are quality of the ones that also cost a fraction of the budget. It's just absolutely stupid because they want to be the almighty, no AI, and yet there's so many different things that are using AI that nobody knows about. Because they don't think about it. AI is the new organic. AI is the new climate change. AI is the market conditions, right? It's the new villain in the room, even though AI has been here the entire time. I'm not here trying to be like, woo AI, right? But you have to know what you're talking about before you can strip something from somebody. Because I guarantee you, every single company out there is using AI in some way, shape, or form to make their video game. If it's to make the NPCs move a certain way, if it's procedurally generated stuff, right? If it's researching, if it's what's it called? Running a script, right? Someone says, "Hey, maybe we want to do this," and you're like, I don't have that time. You know what? Let's do and you write it into ChatGPT. It writes a code for you real fast. You put it in, and you're like, nobody will notice, right? Just stop. Everyone's using AI in some way, shape, or form because people that are using it correctly are using it as a tool, not to replace. They're using it as a tool. An artist that draws on a tablet is different than the artist using actual paint that they had to make the paint or mine the graphite so they could put it in a pencil so someone could draw. Now someone's just taking a stylus and doing the thing, right? It's a different way. It's a tool to use. There should be 100% human touch tag instead of AI because everyone uses AI. Blueprints uses some sort of generative AI, doesn't it? I don't know for sure, Mr. Z, but I would assume, based on the procedurally generated way the rooms happen, I would assume they do. But I don't know. Juan Drummond. Happy holidays to you and your family as well. Appreciate it. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about, okay, is the GeForce. Okay. This is going to be one of those I told you so moments. This is going to be I make the problem, sell the solution moments. Okay. This is the 30 was correct again as usual moments. Okay. And all these things will make sense in just a second. Okay. NVIDIA GeForce Now users just got hit with a playtime cap that's almost impossible to avoid. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Okay. Remember when I told you that, those of you that were here, obviously, remember the times I told you that consoles are selling less and people were fighting me and saying, no, it's and yet they're selling less. Okay. Remember the time I told you that video games were going to go all digital and cloud was going to be the thing. And people were like, I'm always going to buy physical. I said, you can until you won't. Okay. Because you can't, right? You can until you can't because they take it away from you. Make the problem, sell the solution. Okay. Remember when I said a year and a half ago that in 6 to 7 years that video games are all going to go and cloud will be the majority of gaming? And everyone said, you're not correct, 30. It's not going to happen. Okay. Well, NVIDIA GeForce Now users just got hit with a playtime cap that's almost impossible to avoid. NVIDIA's game streaming service has long had a 100-hour playtime cap per month for most users, but January 1st is going to affect nearly everyone. From January 1st, 2026, nearly all users of NVIDIA GeForce Now will be subject to a monthly playtime cap. And the new NVIDIA GeForce Now 100-hour cap will only be available if you the Founders Edition subscription, which also users having a pay surcharge of $5.99 extra for 15 hours of game time, and it exceeds over a 100-hour limit. All right, the 100-hour cap has been placed since November 2024, but the time initial implementation, existing users were exempted. It only applied to new users. However, the grace period has now ended, and now all Founders Edition users will be subject to the new limited NVIDIA service from the start of next year. This is almost like what Game Pass did when you first got in for the $1, and then they raised the price. Okay. GeForce Now is a game streaming service that offers the ability to play games you already own, or just about on any device. Your games are run on a company server, but they also inputs sent to the server where the game renders and resulting of compressed images and audio sent back down to the device, and currently available at 3 tiers, starting at the free, rising to $19.99 per month, and limited to graphical quality per session, and more depending on the tier. Founders Edition subscriptions were also available when GeForce Now services first launched, offering unlimited playtime among other perks. A year into the service launch, they stopped the signups to the co-founders or Founders Edition, but existing users were allowed to keep their accounts. Over time, relative quality of these accounts were also diminished, with the modern Ultimate tier offering higher resolution and frame rate options. Thought they also far higher price of the $5 a month, also now renamed Founders for Life plan. However, the perk completely unlimited playtime has made Founders Edition accounts a still coveted prize, which also the latest announcement further commending the value of OG accounts. Now, for all the subscriptions from January 1st, they will have to pay either $2.99 per extra for 15 hours, and they also use a performance tier of $5.99 per extra 15 hours, and they're also Ultimate tier. If you guys don't see what's happening here, okay, when you looked at Xbox and charging $30 a month, and you're like, this is absurd, okay? These guys are doing the exact same thing, right? The industry is going where you're not going to own your system, you're not going to own your games. You're going to buy a game, but you don't own digitally. You're going to put it on your system that you don't own, okay? And you're going to pay a monthly fee. You're going to be paying a monthly fee. So if you're a hardcore gamer, okay, in the future, you will not be owning a console. You'll be not owning a physical disc. And the only way you'll be able to access this type of stuff is by paying a fee, okay? GeForce or NVIDIA knows where the future is going, hence why they're doing what they're doing, okay? Give you the sample in the beginning, get you conditioned to what they're doing, and then be okay with it. Make the problem, sell the solution, okay? Of course, for many of you, even every avid PC gamer, 100 hours a month of gaming will not seem like a problematic limit. It may technically only work as out as just over 3 hours a day, but that's every single day with no breaks. Once you factor in just a handful of days a month where you also don't use the service, you're up to well over 4 hours a day for use even of the younger Counter-Strike or Apex Legends obsessed days. You would also be limited to my daily play. Still, if you want to get the sense of the potential rising price of GeForce Now, one Redditor has a useful tablet that tabulated all new costs of gaming between 0.5 and 16 hours a day. Reckon also played 6 hours a day every day for a month. That'll cost you $27.93 a month. For the performance tier to 1440p, 60 hertz, 6 hour limit per session, that's $55.93 a month. For Ultimate, up to 4K, 240 hertz, 8 hours limit per session. Okay. Wow. Let me see. Can I get this a little bit bigger? Looks like Microsoft $30 is looking a lot better now, isn't it? Okay. How many hours do I have to play daily until GeForce Now is not a viable option anymore? Okay. So if you play playtime per day, play 16 hours a day, it's just 400 playtime a month. Okay. How many of you guys put 100 hours in a month? Okay. How many of you guys put 100 hours in a month? Right? And I know what you guys are going to say. Right? I know what you guys are going to say. Well, I don't use GeForce Now. Correct, you don't. As of right now. Okay? But there'll be a time where you don't get to choose what system you want to own, but what service you want to pay for. Okay? Listen carefully. I said this before, and I've said it again. Cloud gaming will be the main majority of gaming. Okay? You're either going to stop gaming or you're going to play on the cloud because that's the way it works. Because the industry decides what they want to push towards you. That's it. They say, we don't want to make hard copies anymore. They make it all digital. When they make it all digital, you're like, all right, well, now I got to buy it on Xbox. I got to buy it on PlayStation. I got to buy it on Nintendo. I got to buy it on Steam, right? Or I got to buy, right? Or you're paying a streaming service. And you better believe that if they don't have to sell a console and if they don't have to sell you actual physical copies of discs, they're all going to go to a streaming provider service. The television industry has done it, and the gaming industry is about 7 to 10 years behind the television industry. Okay? And that gap is closing faster and faster and faster until everybody will be on a streaming service of some sort. Okay? So if you look at this, I play roughly, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 on stream. Let's just add another 4, so 12. I do 12 hours a week. So that right there is 40 hours a week on stream. Then off stream, I'm putting maybe another 40. So I'm about 80. So I'm still under the 100 hours, right? As of right now. Okay. But if you're a person, Aku says, I'm like 100 to 200 hours per month, depending on what's going on. Right. All right. So let's see. If you were doing 200 hours a month, all right, that's 7 hours per day, right? Your performance is 33.91. Ultimate is 67.91. It would cost you $67.91 to play your games. Okay. Total cost per year. Okay. Total cost per year for you would be $814 for Ultimate, $406 for performance. Right? In 5 years, it would cost $4,074.60. Okay. In many ways, the chart actually goes and highlights just how reasonable value GeForce Now actually is. If when it comes to your PC, all you care about is gaming, even gaming 6 hours a day, every single day at Ultimate, you're still only paying $3,351 over the span of 10 years. All while being able to play 4K 200. I love how they're selling this. It's not a bad deal, right? With the 5080 tier perform, considering a brand new PC with the RTX 5080 will cost you about that much up front, especially with the current DRAM prices, right? Make the problem, sell the solution. Do you see how they do this? Do you see how they do this? Still, most of the value power of PC is most of them just gaming. At least the value of them is the ability to game via other avenues than just using GeForce Now. Plus, the PCs are steadily upgrading, so you're seldomly dropping 3K in one go. Regardless if you're also existing GeForce Now user or more tempted by the service, you may want to tote up how many hours you actually spend gaming over the course of a month. Yeah, but that changes constantly. That literally changes constantly, right? Nobody knows if you're playing 100 hours in 1 month, you might not touch another game for like 3 months, right? Here's another thing, right? You got a payment cap here. This is the same thing. Every NVIDIA GeForce Now user faces a monthly playtime cap, which is 100. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay. So you understand that the industry is the industry. Okay. The industry is the industry. It doesn't matter if you want to buy a console or not, if they're not selling, right? So right now, let's say you're on the market and you're like, I'm going to buy an Xbox, I'm going to buy a PlayStation, I'm going to buy a Switch, or I'm going to buy a Steam machine. Okay. Well, Xbox is not really selling consoles anymore. So you might like, you know what? I'm not going to buy Xbox. I can still get Xbox because I can play Game Pass in the cloud. Okay. So now I'm down to paying $700 for a PlayStation, paying $500 for a Switch, paying $600 for a Steam Deck, whatever the price is going to be for the Steam machine. Right. But that's now in 2025 going into 2026. 2027 comes. And you're like, I can't afford a $1,200 Xbox. I can't afford a $1,000 PlayStation. I can't afford these systems. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to get the streaming service. Maybe you're a PlayStation user. And you're like, you know what? I'm not really playing new games. So maybe I just buy the PlayStation Plus thing. Right? Now I play that. You can maybe play that in 2 years, 3 years on your television set. Okay? I'm on Xbox, and you're like, you know what? I don't want to buy the new Xbox. You know what? I'm going to play older games. Game Pass just fits the bill. Okay? I don't want to buy the new Steam machine or a brand new computer. I'm just going to use GeForce Now. I can't afford $3,000 right now to buy a PC. I can't afford $1,200 to buy a system. So I'm just going to get a monthly fee, right? And you're like, oh, I get GeForce Now. You pay for the long fee. You're like, I'm nowhere near 100 hours, right? And they get you in. They get you in this system. Okay. Now you're paying a monthly fee, and then they just turn up the dial, right? The frog's boiling in the pot. All these companies make way more money because they're not charging you. They're not giving you a physical object. They're not giving you physical objects to put in that physical object. It's all digital. It's all in the cloud. It's all a monthly fee, recurring revenue every single month, every single time. And that's what it is. This is exactly why I said in 6 to 7 years, a year and a half ago, okay, I said that cloud gaming will be the majority because that's the way it's going. It's going to exponentially switch, sort of like digital to physical. Physical was 80-20, and then in one freaking year, it flipped 20 to 80, right? And again, when I say cloud is going to be the majority, it doesn't need to be 80%. It doesn't need to be 70%. It needs to be like 33%, 34%, and that's it. And it will have the majority of the actual gamers because that's what the companies want. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe if you like what I do here. Check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying up here. All right, let's see. Krabby says, I've never used GeForce Now yet. Yet. Titan says, yeah, it's crazy. I wonder if they continue spiking. You also looking to buy now. Oh, yeah, for computers, if you're buying now, you better buy now. Buy now. Mo says, I might do that. 10 to 15 days. Bishop says, Green New Deal. Aku says, I'm like 100 to 200 hours per month, depending on what's going on. 100 hours in 2 weeks sounds about right. Yeah, there you go. Just Enough says, we're fucked. Samsung couldn't even renew its chip contract for the cell phones. Yeah, there's a bunch of other stories going on with GeForce Now and the chip manufacturers, right? That's a whole nother thing, right? NVIDIA is not making the better graphics card anymore for consumers. They're stopping it. Remember what I talked about when we were in the pandemic? Okay, when COVID was around, and I said that Xbox and PlayStation are going to put more of the digital consoles out there with no disk drive than they are with the physical disk drive. And what happened? The more physical didn't sell as well. Why? Because they didn't put it out there because they were selling the diskless versions of these things because they wanted people to stick in their ecosystem. Okay. Well, GeForce Now, or NVIDIA, I should say, is stopping what most people buy, which is like the 5080, and they're not making it anymore, the 5080 Ti, and they're not going to produce them anymore, which then makes people get a shittier version or bring them towards the actual GeForce Now. Because you can't afford the ones above it, right? You can't afford the one above it. Kyle says, I think the spike in PC hardware is calculated by the big corporations so people to have no choice but to pay for the cloud subscription service. 100%, Kylo. This is what I've been saying for years. Make the problem, sell the solution. Of course it's reasonable, bro. You were paying nothing before, and now you must pay. Yeah, and you won't own anything. Kyle says, the article doesn't take into consideration people actually like building and tinkering with the PC. Yeah, like the game that you also, but I find that it's just as fun working on the PC and building them. Absolutely. And what they also don't take into account is someone's going to pay $3,000 for a PC. It's not just for gaming. It does a whole bunch of other shit as well. Ray says, if you play over 100 hours, then you don't need cloud. You need cloud because that'll be the only thing, though, Ray. Do you see what I'm saying? Right now, in 2025, going into 2026, yes, there's still options. You can buy an $800 console, $700 console, okay? Or you can pay a monthly fee. Well, let me tell you something. Most people don't have the income to go just blow $800 or $1,200 on a device. But they can pay $10 a month. They can pay $20 a month. Right? And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, they could pay $20 a month and buy that on a payment plan. There's no payment plan here. There's no interest rate. It's just buy the service. That's it. I would go cloud if all the games were available. Well, sooner rather than later. Morning, Wonder Rose. Will Sony try to leverage this trend to get more players, Mike? Be the only system that you don't need a subscription. No, they're going to follow suit because that's the way the industry is going. You got to remember, everyone, take your blue shirt, green shirt, red shirt off for a second. All of these companies are together. The only reason they make the choices that they're making is for the bigger picture. They're all going the same direction. They control the market. We control the market because we buy their product. If we don't want a product to succeed, we don't buy it. It fails. Then they make a change. They back it up for a little bit. If it's 6 months, 2 years, whatever it is. And then they come out again and try to bring it around, right? Remember, loot boxes were terrible, but now they're just giving you $25 microtransactions, okay? They're like, it could have cost you $25 to get this hidden loot box, but now they're just charging you $25 up front. And you're like, oh, all right, thank you, right? That's it. They just repackage it and sell it to you, okay? So it's not about Sony trying to leverage this trend. Sony is going to go along with everybody else because that's what happens. If you want to stay concurrent in the market, they're all going to go that way. Nintendo does a subscription model. They all do subscription models. Kraken says, NVIDIA is now a military and surveillance company. They're cutting back production on consumer GPUs, making existing GPUs more expensive, pricing more consumers out of the market and into subservices. It's correct. Mr. Z says, not sure if I asked it correctly, but 45 to 50% of GeForce Now users are PC. Haha, bad article argument. The only reason it's going to flip the regular people will be priced out of the owning their own hardware, not by choice. Correct. Make the problem, sell the solution. You price them out, and then you have them here. We talked about this with Ubisoft, with Game Pass, right? When Outlaws came out and Shadows came out, and they had those bars, and they showed you the $80 version, the $120 version, whatever version, and then they at the very end they highlight it in blue, and they say the $18 version. It's the exact same business strategy. It's like, well, you could pay $2,000 for this box, And you could pay $80 for this video game, or you could pay $30 a month for this, right? Or you could pay, right? That's what they do. Make the problem, sell the solution. I've been paying for the ultimate tier for GeForce Now for a long time. Pretty good service. Cisco says, playtime cap is quite far from Cloud 9. I understand it, but I don't like it. Well, they will change it over the course, right? What they're doing right now is they're tightening it up for the people that are already in there. They're already in there. People already have the libraries. They already have the things they've been playing. They're like, well, I can't afford a $3,000 computer, but I can pay $20 a month to enjoy on a high-end computer on my shitty computer, right? So right now, it's not a big deal, but it wasn't a big deal for Xbox when they were paying $10 a month. And then all of a sudden now we're paying $30 a month. And you got to remember, there are people like Aku that are paying 200 hours, 300 hours a month. And if they are using GeForce Now, the few pay for the many. So the person that's going over and paying $300 a month, there's also people that are only using 5 hours a month, right? There's also people that are only using 3 hours a month, whatever it is. Because they don't want to buy a computer. They don't want to think. They're just like, I'll just pay the monthly fee because I don't play enough games to own. Eclipse says pretty much everything because I need a new CPU. So I got a motherboard RAM and also CPU. Already got a good GPU and a power supply in case. Ray says I'd rather have a time cap than have a 1 to 3% no life people crying about it, but keep the price the same. Just Enough says PS4 and Switch 1 might be the last console that don't require an online to check in. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, right? Like, to play your games, you have to log in online, right? I think you're right. I think PlayStation 4 and Switch 1 are the last. The only other way you could do stuff is if you download a game, but you still have to log in. But then you can shut off the online. Like if you're playing a single player game where you don't have to log in. But for the most part, for updates or anything like that, it has to check in. And some of the games have to check in just so you can play it. It's crazy. And here we are. Here we are. All right, we got that one. We got the GeForce. All right, we got two more stories. Next story. Yeah, they still have a GeForce still free with ads. Yeah. Which is Xbox is going to get their own free with ads down the road, right, Dolphin? Speaking of Microsoft, if you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond, become a member as little as $5. We just cover news stories, have conversations, give you my thoughts and opinions, and get your thoughts and opinions afterwards as well. Microsoft denies report about increased profit margin goals at Xbox. Didn't they do this like a month and a half ago? People were talking about this. Now Xbox right now is coming out and being like, no, we deny it. Did you have enough meetings to talk about it? It was like 2 months ago we talked about this. Julio says The Lawnmower Man was released in 1992 as a movie about AI. If the movie also see how the computer is a portal to the higher power. AI is not intelligent. It's a path to everything it connects to. Well, just remember, just wait for it, Juby. Right now, people are talking about AI. AI has a cap. It has a ceiling, and that is power. Okay? AI is power. Okay, where I'm not talking about physical power. I'm talking about actual power. It has a ceiling because we don't have enough power to power the AI because everyone's all in on it. Okay, so we exponentially can't get enough power. And that's why AI is just a speed bump to quantum computing. Quantum computing already exists. I think there's like 200 quantum computers around the world. Okay, as soon as the industry changes and quantum computing is the churn, no one's even going to talk about AI because AI, quantum computing is going to make AI look like a pebble. Because quantum computing takes everything all at once, where AI goes to all the things and tries to find all the stuff. Just wait. You'll see. You'll see by 2028, 2029, maybe I'll still be here. And we'll have a conversation about quantum computing. All right, so Microsoft denies reports about the increased profit margin of goals at Xbox. Microsoft has reacted to a report that said the company is pushing Xbox to make more profit. In a statement to CSNBC, okay, the company said that the ambitious profit goal, am I being hit? We're going to pause for a second. We're going to pause for a second. I got a little hiccup on YouTube. I said the key word. I said the magic word of Microsoft. On my end, it showed I had a hit. So, all right. So Microsoft has reacted to a report that said the company is pushing Xbox to make more profit in a statement to CNBC. The company also said the ambitious profit goal, but the specific 30% profit margin figures was not correct. The statement was paraphrased and not attributed to any specific person at Microsoft. The GameSpot has followed up with Microsoft and attempted to get more information. Earlier this year, Bloomberg reported that Microsoft pushed the Xbox team as increased profit margins starting in 2023. Now, I have a question. Hold on a second. I have a question. Was this article written by... Okay, so this is Jason Schreier. A new report from Jason Schreier. Well, isn't that funny? We had a conversation yesterday because of an article that Jason Schreier wrote talking to Larian Studios lead and literally completely left out a big key point in his article that everyone started giving shit to Larian Studios about. And then only later did Jason Schreier come out and say, this is what the facts are. Okay. Funny enough, it makes you wonder how Jason Schreier is actually doing his reporting now and how accurate it is, because if he reported here in Jason, Microsoft, Bloomberg, on October 23rd, Microsoft pushes for Xbox division to hit higher profit margins. Okay. Well, now we're over here, and Microsoft pushed the Xbox team to increase profit margins in 2023 with the goal to rising to 30%. But is that true? Because they just said they denied it. So how are we supposed to trust someone that's making an article if they're just kind of just making shit up? Again, I'm not saying that Microsoft is not doing the 30%, but Jason Schreier just did a report and held back information about Sven at Larian Studios. And now we have a back-to-back days where Jason Schreier from Bloomberg reported that Microsoft is pushing a 30% margin, and that's not true. Okay. So the industry average profit margin is likely 17 to 22%, analysts said in Bloomberg's piece. According to a report of Microsoft CFO Amy Hood implemented that the new goals, and her team has also taken a large role in the company's gaming business recently. The Xbox team undertook efforts to make more money in 2025, including raising the price of console prices, hiking Game Pass membership costs, and releasing more games on the rival platform. Microsoft also laid off lots of people, canceled games, closed studios. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer said these cuts had to happen because of capitalism. Microsoft also is planning to charge $80 for new games this year, but canceled those plans. Head of the Xbox Game Studio, Matt Booty, said that the Xbox team needs to run a healthy business, but it didn't. I love when it says they have to run a healthy business. You know what's running a healthy business? Pocket Pair. Pocket Pair making the game that they did and making 20 million sales and having more money than they know what to do with. You know who's running a good business? Hello Games running a good business. Okay. Right. That's another one running a good business. Right. And name other businesses, right? Running a good business where you make a game, you sell a game, you take that money from that game and you make your next game. All these businesses just keep taking the money and they put it in their new car, or the new 180,000 square foot studio, or the garage full of cars. What's going on, Alien? Okay. Microsoft was also planning to charge $80 for new games. Like I said, doesn't necessarily mean increase beyond $70 for new games. From our point of view, monetization just happens in so many different ways right now. So we're going to continue to listen to the feedback from fans. We're going to continue to balance that with the needing of the healthy business. But right now, the content side, we don't have any price update. Okay. You got to also remember, they make microtransactions, right? So if a company is making microtransactions here, battle passes here, right? When I say microtransactions, I'm talking about store microtransactions. Then there's the battle passes. Then there's the game itself. Then there's like 19 ways of income coming in. But yet they say they have to charge $80 for a video game. They say they have to take $350 million to make these video games. But where are they spending this money? Obviously, they're not spending it on employees because they have to fire the employees because they don't have enough money to go around. So where is this money going, right? If we all followed the paper trail, you would know where the money's going, right? You can't have a successful game and then say we're closing the studio down. That doesn't make sense. That studio that's profitable should still be in business. They should still be making their next game because their studio made money. But yet, that's not how it works. Next year, it's poised to be one of the big one for Microsoft. 2026 marks the 25th anniversary of Xbox and Halo. It's also the 40th anniversary of Bethesda and the 35th anniversary of Blizzard. And the 30th anniversary of the original Diablo, but it's also expecting Microsoft to also divulge new information about the company's new console in 2026, but it remains to be seen. Microsoft will also host an Xbox Direct in January, also show off some of the upcoming games. Yeah, we'll see about that. Okay. But where are we supposed to go? How are we supposed to listen, right? Where, again, Jason Schreier here says Microsoft pushes Xbox division to hit higher profit margins, management goal of 30% profit margin. Now, this was written. People ran with this. People said it was a 30% mark, 30% profit margin. Unheard of. We all talked about it. And then here we are. Microsoft denies report about increased profit margin goal. So who do we believe? Now, obviously, you would hope, as a person reading the article, you would believe the person writing the article, right? But now the integrity is kind of a little shaky because even though Jason Schreier put the stuff that he took out of the article yesterday or this weekend with Sven from Larian Studios, and only because Sven was getting shit on, and he said, I don't think it was going to be like this, he took the part that he took out of the article and then went back on Blue Sky to tell that this is what the actual rest of the article was about. But he didn't put it in the article. So now I have to be a little bit skeptic, right? I don't just jump into a puddle of water in Florida because I'm assuming there's a gator in there, okay? So now I have to look at Jason Schreier, who everyone loves, okay? He's the darling of the video game article, right, of writing articles. Okay, my brain went dead there for a second. Okay, like he was this person that everyone's like, oh yeah, he's the last guy, he's it. But he withheld stuff, and now he said this, and now this is coming out, and now we don't even know if that's true. So how are we supposed to take anything that anyone says if they're not checking the resources? There's sources, not resources, but there's sources. So which one is it? Are they going for 30% profit margins? Are they not going for 30% profit margins? Is there going to be a retraction of him saying that this is what I thought they were doing? Like, I'm confused, right? We go over news stories all the time. People say shit all the time. I'll tell you honestly, there's no difference between the journalists and myself right now, right? I read the articles and give you my thoughts and opinions, but it just seems like they're just writing their thoughts and opinions and not actual fact anymore. I don't know who to believe anymore. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comment section. These are my thoughts and opinions. Let me know yours. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Very surprising coming from Jason Schreier. This is usually very thought in his investigations. It seems a little weird. I don't know if you were here yesterday or saw the video from yesterday, Alien. But yesterday, we watched Legendary Drops video. I saw the actual information about Jason Schreier putting more information about the article that he wrote. So he wrote an article about Larian Studios and about Sven, okay? We're talking about how they used AI, and he was interviewing him, and he removed a thing from the article that was basically defending what Sven was talking about, but he left that part out to make it look like they were using AI. Only after that he get shit on, the actual CEO of Larian Studios, where he came out and said, for fuck's sake, guys, we literally bought a concept art firm, okay? Did Jason decide to go, oh, I didn't know this was going to get that bad, so here's the rest of the article that I didn't include in my article, right? And for doing that now, And now this article coming out saying that, yeah, they denied doing the 30%. Now, obviously, a corporation can say they're not doing the 30%. It could be 29%, right? It could be 29.5%. It could be 29.9%, whatever it is. And he just kind of rounded it up, okay, to say 30% margin, which is fine. But how are you supposed to trust the person if now he's holding stuff back from one article and now this article comes out saying that, no, they denied the 30%. So what is it? You wrote an article saying that Microsoft is doing a 30% margin. They deny it. You wrote an article about Sven, okay, from Larian Studios. You didn't publish the whole thing. You kept pieces hidden, okay? Like, I just don't understand. It doesn't look good on him. I'll tell you that. Just Enough says, I'll go with Slimy Journal for this one. Dolphin says, doesn't the AI data centers ruin the environment? Dolphin, do you care about the environment? With your gas guzzling ATVs, snowmobiles, flying around. Like, come on now. Come on now. No. Okay. In fairness, I haven't been sure who to believe since the Walter Cronkite, which is the Save Forever. Yeah, it's kind of scary, right? These are companies that repurpose unused energy to run data centers. Brain, depending on where you live, it will be a holy fucking water bill from the data centers. Yeah, I mean, it all depends because they're building, supposedly, again, I'm not a professional at this in any way, shape, or form, but they say they have to build them on like rivers and different things because they need all the water source to come in to cool down all the things. But you're supposed to unplug everything in your house because of the environment. You're supposed to run your air at 72. If you live in Texas, there's brownouts all the time, right? In Texas, there's brownouts all the time. There's certain times in California that you can't do certain things because you have to conserve energy, right? Let me tell you something. The data centers are going to be like full blast. And when you have to shut yours down so they can survive, that's what's going to happen. Alien says the U.S. government needs to start taxing the big companies so they build those to use their data centers. Well, the question is, the big companies that are making the data centers that we are all using, they're making you use AI, right, Alien? So if you're using ChatGPT, if you're using Google, if you're using Facebook, whatever it is, so let's just say you're using a program on your cell phone. Let's say you're using Meta, or you're using Google, or using YouTube. Well, YouTube, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Sony, because you're using their stuff, if it's the computer on the cloud, if it's the AI that you're doing, if it's the whatever it is, they're like, we're taxing you because you're using it. And you're like, well, I don't use it. You're using it in some way, shape, or form, and that's what they get you. Even though they're benefiting from the data centers, they're supplying a thing, and they're forcing you to use it, and because you're using it, they're going to tax you for it. The grid is nowhere ready. The AI companies need to build out their own power. The funny part is that by the time they build these facilities, AI is what we know today won't even exist. I'm telling you, they're going to go be to quantum computing because it's a fraction of the actual price. But who do you think pays for all the extra power that's needed? We do. We do, of course. Here, it's funny because my wife didn't believe me, right? There was a time, and maybe you guys know this, maybe you don't know this, right? Your power company during certain times of the year, they prorate your stuff. Okay, we were gone for almost like majority of the month one time. We got the electric bill, and I'm like, there's no fucking way our electric bill is this high. And she's like, well, maybe there's something running. I'm like, there's nothing running. I was like, they charge you more certain times of the year because they know, right? Because they're using more power. Because they're using more power, they have to raise the price for certain things, right? If you're using it or not, we weren't even home. We were gone for like 2.5, 3 weeks of the month. And yet our power bill was more than it's ever been before. That doesn't make sense. Would I have every light on, every computer, every television set while I was gone? Tell you, because I understand stuff. That's why. I'm telling you right now. AI is bottlenecked because of the power centers. Quantum computing is not powered. Like, it's a fraction of the price. It's powered, but it's a fraction of what it is. Why do you think scientists and all of this stuff use quantum computing? It's when the regular sector is now being profited off of it, right? This is the new moneymaker. AI is the new moneymaker. That's why every industry is going towards it. You could think I'm crazy. You could think I'm full of shit. Which stocks involve quantum computing? I'm not sure. You have to go check that out. Right? And even if you were be able to, you wouldn't be able to purchase them because they would be private and they wouldn't be public yet until they have to raise money and then they would make them public. Dolphin says, I watched a documentary of these people property getting destroyed by one of these facilities on some shit they also just spent their life savings on. Yeah, because they don't care. It's like, you ever see those videos of the people have a house and they want to buy the house, but they don't want to sell the house. So they just build a fucking road around the house, like the highway around the house. And they're like, there you go. Right? You see that shit over in like China and in other countries. Even in the United States, you'll see like a house and then you'll see like skyscrapers on either side of it. What's going on, Water? Just Enough says that currently electric bills are customers for the cost of any grid expansion. They also do this in the summer, especially in electricity, when you're using the AC more. I'm sure they do that in Florida. 100%. Even the time, that's what I'm saying. We were gone in the summertime, Water. We were on vacation. We were out of our house. Like, the air's not on. Right, it sets at like 80 degrees or whatever it is when we're gone. No lights are on, no nothing's on. All of a sudden we get the bill when we come back and we're like, how is the bill more expensive the month we weren't here than it is when we're actually here? Right, that right there tells you that they prorate the stuff. They're raising the prices regardless if you use it or not. When demand is higher, the price of energy shoots up. Right, for everyone, regardless if you're using it. Argus says the government in your city doesn't give a shit either, because guess who makes the money off the company operating there, and more money. You know what's funny? They're doing an expansion of a road over here, and I don't understand this. Right? They're building like a sports complex, and they're building like 2 hotels on the thing. But the road is a 1 lane each way. Okay? 1 lane each way. And you're like, why? And right now there's a sinkhole. So they have the lane closed. But they're not expanding the road. The road's been closed for like a month and a half. And they're not expanding the road. And you're like, why aren't you expanding the road? Right? And this is the way businesses work, right? They won't expand the road until they think they need the road expanded. But they know they need the road expanded because they're building 2 hotels on the road, right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, these businesses, they just keep, and then they'll raise the taxes or whatever. Our exit that we get off on and off on and off the highway over here, okay, is up to $2 now. $2 to get on the highway. Right? It's more if you don't have a Sun Pass or whatever. And you're like, oh, why does it cost more? And you look at the road and they're like, oh, they're expanding the highway or whatever. Right? And they just keep going up. Right? 1,000 cars. It used to be 50 cents. That was 75 cents. More people moved in, meaning you probably shouldn't have to raise the price. Nope, keep raising the price because now there's 4,000 cars. You just keep doing it. We need the taxes. We need the money. We need all the stuff. Same shit. Make the problem, sell the solution. Make the problem, put 2 hotels there. The problem is now we need to expand the road. Guess what? Taxes rise. Right? Make the problem, sell the solution. Well, you just need more money. Dolphin says a guy near me lost his business. He owned a McDonald's / gas station combo. Wow, that's interesting. They built a new highway like 2 miles to the left, and the guy went bankrupt. Yeah. You don't want to sell? We'll just push you out of business. Well, most of them take their investments, Cisco. They don't even remove their money. They if they have stocks and invest it, they use those stocks and they get loans based on that stuff without ever selling it. You guys are getting all the Californians now? Well, we already have all the New Yorkers. Are Californians coming out over here? I think they stop at Texas. Yeah, they don't use you never use your own money for business. Right? So if you have like let's say you have Bitcoin, right? You have Bitcoin. Let's say you have lots of Bitcoin. Right? You could be like, "Hey, I have all this Bitcoin. Can I borrow?" Right? You're borrowing off of that money. Because they know you're good for it. But they never take it out. And then they make the business, make the money, pay that money back, keep their money in the thing. I guess there's a lot of large companies like this offshore pay $0 in taxes and receive money back from our taxes. Yeah, 100%. Which is they're just playing the rules. They're just playing the game. As a Texan, I can confirm stuck with the damn Callies. Yeah. I don't think I'm not going to say they're not coming to Florida, but a lot of them go to like Arizona or they go to Texas. All right. Other story here. We got EA company shareholders approve of the $55 billion sale. So the sale of EA's Saudi Arabia-owned public investment fund has been approved by shareholders. However, the purchase still needs to be government approved before it can go through. Well, guess what? It's going to go through. Wards, thank you very much for the gifted membership. Appreciate you. All right, guess what? It's going to go through. Okay. Do you know why it's going to go through? Because Microsoft and Activision went through, and this is nowhere like that. So this is going to go through. Okay. So earlier this year, EA announced the PIF would also be purchasing a majority stake in the gaming company, and the deal set for $55 billion would lead to PIF acquiring 93.4% of EA. While the company would still run things as it would be in the United States, it would also be mainly owned by Saudi Arabia. Pushback from fans and even U.S. government officials have arose since the announcement, but nothing has been amended. Now the company's shareholders have moved forward with the deal, further solidifying it. Okay, EA's sales of Saudi Arabia PIFI still needs the government approval despite shareholder approval. In a tweet from a journalist, Stephen Totillo, EA shareholders have approved the deal, the game company being sold to Saudi Arabia, and the only thing truly left is for the government regulators to approve the deal. No word as of it when the deal will come in, as said as of yet. Despite the buyout, EA will remain creative control of the company. It's not fully known that PIF will also play within the company. EA did extremely well in 2025 with the Battlefield 6 topping the charts in the sales and sports titles doing great. Well, the sports titles always do great. As well, still given as many warnings from the government and fans as well as the studios and EA will likely BioWare. The direction of the company can go is up in the air. No, it's not. It's going to go down. Right? It's going to go down. What do you think of the shareholders from EA approving the sale? Do you think it will pass the government regulations? Yes, I do. Have thoughts on the whole sale in general? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think that this is going to go through? I think 100% is going to go through, because why would they stop it? Why would they stop this from happening? Right? It's not like they're going to have a monopoly on something. This is an outside company, private investors coming in and buying the company, right? Yeah, it's going through. Why would they stop it? It would be different. It would be different if, let's say, Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo in some way, shape, or form owned it, right? Because if, like, say, Nintendo was interested in EA, and then Nintendo's like, EA is only happening on Nintendo devices, you'd be like, oh, hold on a second, you can't do that, right? Because whatever reason, right? So this is 100% going through. This is like a speed bump. They wouldn't even know the speed bump's there. They're just going to fly right through because it's a private investor. My problem is I don't like because I understand life's not fair, right? Other countries have businesses, right? Other countries have businesses. If you're from Canada or from Europe or from Japan or from Russia, right? Wherever you are in the world, you have companies, and these companies are not allowed to be bought because they're part of your major, what brings money into your country. Okay. Now, I'm not saying EA is one of these companies that it needs to thrive. It needs to be, but what I'm saying is you're not allowed to buy foreign businesses because it's a major thing over there. We're always about America, right? We've always been about in America where we're like, no, made in America, made in America, made in America. But yet when stuff is up for being sold, they're like, yeah, anyone can buy it. And they keep buying up stuff, right? Other countries keep buying up our properties that we have here. And I don't like that personally because, again, I can't go over to another country and buy the thing. You have to have people that sponsor you or represent you or whatever before you can buy the actual companies. But over here, people come over all the time and just keep buying our companies up, right? John Deere, American made, not owned by America anymore. Harley Davidson, not American anymore, right? There's so many companies I can name that are not owned, okay? Most other countries, non-citizens can't buy land. That's right. Over here, they're buying farmland up left and right. And it's like, how does this, right? How does this happen? Anyway, this is why I don't like this happening, right? Because 94.5% or whatever is being owned by someone that's not from here. So I don't think they have the best interest, let alone for gaming, but for the company in the United States, right? Because again, let's just say they invest in and be like, hey, you know what? We don't care. We just close it. Bam, done. Right? That income is gone from the country. Okay? And I know you think about, well, I don't care. You should. You should care because these businesses bring in money into the country. Right? So that's what I don't like. I also don't like that, you know, when Netflix trying to buy Warner Brothers and Paramount and there's outside sources, you guys know where I stand with that as well. I don't really like Netflix buying it, but right now they're the only ones that don't have outside investors. So what do you think is going to happen? I'm asking you guys in the live chat. What do you think is going to happen with EA? What do you think is going to happen with, once the outside sources take over? Are they going to keep making Madden the way it is? Right? Are they going to keep making the sports games? Are they going to keep Battlefield the way it is? Are they going to keep all the EA franchises the way they are? Are they going to completely change it? Right? Yeah, Harley Davidson is not American owned. I think it's owned by a German company now, Dolphin, if I'm not mistaken. I can look it up. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Harley Davidson. Let's see. Owned by Harley Davidson is an iconic American company founded in the United States, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 1903. Let's see. Tied American manufacturer. I'm pretty sure they got sold off manufacturing. Didn't they get bought out? Am I wrong about Harley Davidson? I'm pretty sure it's owned by a German company now. Headquarters in Wisconsin. Scrolling. Harley-Davidson is fully a public U.S. company, but recently news shows restricting selling financial HDFS investor and Capital spinning off its electronic brand Livewire. Potential go private deals. So they did get bought out by somebody, but there's speculation that they're going to go private. So they're still a U.S. company, but they're owned by an outside source now. So they're just keeping them in the United States. What's going on, Bat? Business as usual for maybe 2 years with EA. And then what do you think they do? Obviously, Andrew Wilson talks about, fundamentally going AI, right? Lots of AI. Well, beer does taste better up by you guys, Dolphin. There's just something about it. I don't know if it's the water that they use to make it, but brats taste better. Dairy Queens are better. Beer tastes better. Just it is what it is. Fried food tastes better up there as well. We go up there like once a year or so. Just everything just tastes better. I'm looking at the other. There's a bunch of different companies. The mosquitoes are horrendous, though. I don't know. They're pretty bad here in Florida. Mosquitoes are pretty bad, and the worst part is it doesn't get cold enough to remove them. At least up there, the mosquitoes they go bye after a certain when it gets too cold. Here in Florida, they're like gone for like an afternoon and they come back. Eclipse says my favorite watered down beer is PBR, and that's made in Milwaukee, right? Mine is it's gold Milwaukee Gold. You can only buy it there. It's like it only sold in like 3 states. When I don't drink beer a lot. Okay, I don't drink alcohol really at all anymore for like years. So when I go up there and have beer and stuff, I think it's Milwaukee Gold. Is that what it is, Dolphin? I forget what it is. I think it's a gold. And for some reason it just tastes really good. It's a gold. I don't know if it's Milwaukee Gold. I don't know if that's what it's called. That's how you know I don't really drink. Speaking of Dairy Queen, the other day, I was a high school girl. I was like, "What are you doing? You gonna do the thing?" I was like, "Flip the ice cream upside down." Oh, you put it. Yeah, the cream up there is better. The cream up there is better. One player excited on Battlefield 6, I was in 700,000 down to 200,000, but in Arc Raiders is 100,000 up to 400,000. There's also a repetition of Battlefield 6 that annoys me that the Arc Raiders is having fun. I haven't looked at Arc Raiders. Is Arc Raiders up that high still? I know they're doing good as far as I haven't played, but in the last like 3 weeks. What's Arc Raiders numbers at? Oh yeah, they're still at 249,000. Like this is a month and a half old. This is actually pretty good. Right? It's actually pretty good. It's staying pretty consistent, right? Now, when you look at Battlefield, this is not very good. This is not very good. They've dropped below 100,000. Okay, obviously it's Tuesday or whatever, but this is bad. This is was supposed to be that is RedSec right there. Okay, that was supposed to be the savior of the thing, right? I mean, they did their job. They did their job. People, they bought the $70 version, $80 version, $120 versions. You're still rating almost every day. I haven't turned it on. I haven't turned it on. And I think what it is, one, it's time for me. But two, I think it is, I want to know what happens with the expedition stuff afterwards. Good news for 30. RedSec isn't hitting. I mean, it's not really good news, Titan. And I know what you're saying. You're saying it's good news because Battlefield is not falling into the Battle Royale market, right? But Battlefield is also not going back to the Battlefield market because they look at this and they say, well, this is not working out, so what can we do, right? One, they converted Battlefield 6 more towards the Call of Duty crowd. Two, they want to go with the Portal stuff to make the content. Three, they wanted the Battle Royale to hit off because they wanted to hit that 100 million. But this is not a good sign for Battlefield. Battlefield's like the song I wrote. Battlefield's back, but fix it, please. Okay, like it's just not working. If it was working, this number wouldn't look like this. It would look like Arc Raiders, right? It would look like this, right? It would look like this. Look, this is the max. It would look consistent. It would stay where it is. But that's not what Battlefield is doing. The problem with Call of Duty has all the numbers combined, right? This doesn't look bad. This looks terrible as well. Look at all the things, right? Right? Free week. There, you don't know where it ends or starts. Right? The last month, right? Right now there's 39,000. The problem with this number on Steam is most people don't play Call of Duty on Steam. They play on PlayStation. Right? They play on PlayStation. From their own data that they've talked about, we talked about this, Quintar, 15 to 16% of PlayStation owners just buy it every year. If that's true, that's 12 to 13 million copies sold just on PlayStation. For the shittiest version in years, that's 12 to 13 million copies sold just on PlayStation. Asher says, I thought it was back, hence the 700,000 concurrent players, but then quickly realized it wasn't really back, therefore dwindling numbers. Right. That's why I wrote the song. Battlefield's back, but fix it, please. Because there's so many things wrong with it. Hence why every patch update is changing something or doing something. And what they're going to do now is, now it's out, the Trojan horse is out, more people are going to try to make their own maps or whatnot. They're going to keep adding seasons in there. Okay. They're going to try to make it sound like it's better than it is. They're going to put more game modes in. They have more game modes they want to do. I've been seeing reports of Black Ops 7 being 50% off. I mean, I wouldn't buy it. I don't like Call of Duty. I love Battlefield. But I also don't believe the numbers that they're talking about for Call of Duty, because they don't share their numbers. And until they do, I'm going to stand where I stand, because even with the numbers as shitty as they are for Steam, I still think it sold 14 to 16 million units on console. And you know what? I'm more right than they are because we don't know numbers. And based on the past selling of all of Call of Duty, the worst I think is 14 million. So this could be the worst. But we'll see. All right, let's go to Twitter. See what's happened on Twitter. Actually, what do we have? I think we have another story. We might have one more story. Did you guys see? Did you guys see the trailer for the Doomsday? Oh, I guess I'll read this one. This is interesting. I saw this morning. I saw the article. I didn't read it yet, but Netflix is acquiring a game avatar maker, Ready Player Me. Okay. It says the company's tool will allow Netflix subscribers to have an avatar that can be used across games. So this is basically the Me, right? That's what it was called on Nintendo. All right. So Netflix is acquiring a startup, Ready Player Me, a company creating cross-game avatar tech that allows players to bring the digital persona with them to different games. This is like NFT shit, right? This is like NFT shit. The company's CEO shared in a LinkedIn post the acquisition is part of Netflix's new game strategy, which is weird because their new game strategy was they didn't want to do gaming. Like they were doing gaming, then they got rid of gaming, then they were coming back into gaming, then they buying WB, okay, which puts an emphasis on approachable multiplayer titles and adaptations of streaming service and IP. Ready Player Me, team of around 20 players, or 20 employees, will be incorporated into Netflix staff, TechCrunch writes. Though Toke is only one of the startup's 4 founders who will continue after the acquisition, neither company has shared when the avatar tech will be incorporated into Netflix games or what games will support the feature when they do. Besides designing an avatar system to be easy for developer to implement in their games, Ready Player Me, big pitch for the system is using AI. AI, oh my God, to automatically redesign avatars for different games, art styles, and automatically fit asset to any avatar rig topology without manual work. Netflix games can never, ever be rewarded any kind of rewards, at least from the IGA. Netflix has taken multiple different approaches to games in the last few years, but lately the company has actively retreated from AAA development and its more ambitious projects. Other than the premium, it takes the HQ trivia. Netflix last few games announcements of 2025 were focused on collection of streamable party games and a partnership with FIFA to release a new soccer sim in 2026. All those projects could support Avatar in some form of another now that Netflix just needs to decide how. I'm still interested to see how the FIFA thing works. I wonder if FIFA owns a little bit of what Madden or what EA did because they were partnered for so long. I wonder if they could just take that like soccer and just what they used to have and just implement it to Netflix. I wonder. I don't know. But yeah, so you're going to be able to take your avatar and go across all of their games, all 2 of their games. All 2. My friend actually said he played the Netflix game that called Lego Party, and it's pretty much Mario Party. And it says better than Mario Party. There you go. Travis says, I mean, Lego is default better than Mario, but still nice to hear. Juby says, crossplay is ruining modern days FPS games. Players who don't understand the difference or ignorant to how to turn off crossplay and claim hacks or skill-based matchmaking manipulation. Well, the problem is it goes much deeper than that, Juby. There is programs and peripherals that you can plug into the consoles now that people are cheating, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. We talked about this. What was it, chat? About 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. We watched videos and stuff on it. So it's not about people being ignorant and how to turn off crossplay. Even people that are not in crossplay are having cheaters because they're using peripherals that the consoles can't detect because it's a little box that you can pay, what was it, like $60 to $90? But yes, I think you are correct. There are people that are ignorant and don't understand the stuff like that. If crossplay was off by default, games would not have some of the complaints. The most blame is skill-based matchmaking and hacks for. That's not true. Not anymore. In the past, yes, you would be 100% correct. Because I understand how crossplay works. And when I play games that have crossplay and I turn it off and I still run into people that are cheating, Aku says consoles is the main cause of cheating right now because of the avenue of least resistance. Yeah, which we watched the video. We saw the stuff. And more people are buying it every single day. What was it called again, Aku? What was it called again? Koros. That's it. Let's see. $109. Yeah, so here, Chronos Zen controller emulator for Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC. $6K, 6,000 plus just on this one sailing. $109 in the last month. 6,000 people, more people bought it. What's the other thing? There you go. So you got, here's a Zim. You got 1,000 people bought this the last month. Doesn't say 700 people bought this the last month. More and more people are buying this because it's just easier. And I know you're saying, you're like, oh, 1,000 people is not a lot. I mean, it's 1,000 people more than last month. Juby says, oh, I know. There's other things too, but there's also AI assisted cameras that can also go over the shoulder. That also players can also pair the projector display overlay onto the screen. They don't even need that anymore, though, Juby. There's literally like monitors that are meant for disabled people that can't see or hear or whatever. And the actual monitor itself shows you the people popping up on the screen before you, the human eye, can even see them, which gives an advantage. So maybe they're not actually using a cheat where they are using like aimbots, but if I can see you pop up on the screen before I can even see you, that's an advantage. And there's computer screens that already do that. Yeah, I saw the Cosmic Invasion water about the DLCs, about the Fantastic Four and stuff. Yeah, I saw that. Kyle says, if you can't beat them, join them. Yeah. Cisco says, I get bored pretty quickly using that stuff. Yeah, it's the same way. This is the conversation we had before a couple months ago, was like, I used the example of SimCity back in the day, right? With the cheat code, right? I would play SimCity, but as a kid, it was like I would struggle trying to find a pattern to make money and to build stuff, and I couldn't do it. So then I found one of the Nintendo Power magazines had the cheat code in it. And I put the cheat code in, and then I was a millionaire, right? And I had all the unlimited money. And then guess what? I stopped playing the game because I could do whatever I wanted. So I got bored of the game and put it down because I cheated myself out of playing the game. Waterbear says, I want to be the very best. That's no one ever says with Chronos users. Yeah. It's to the point where I think more people are using them than not using them. Yeah, 100%. It's like the other video that we saw last year about the guy that played Tarkov. And he was like, how many people are cheating using the hack, like the wall hack, and he did the little wiggle. And he was like, it can't be that many people. Every single game he was in, he met somebody. Altered says, so how much does this Chronos cost asking for a friend? Obviously not me. I'm a pro. They call me Shroud, only at home. It's like $100. It's like $100. Oh, the story is Steam Deck LCD stopping production. Well, I would assume that the reason they're stopping that is because they want to sell the next version. So they want to try to get that off the shelves. I'm assuming that's usually what people do. I memorized the tank cheat in Grand Theft Auto. You can press the buttons on console and instantly spawn in a tank. Cheats like that are fun. Online gaming is different, though. Console is a governor. Right, but then there's people that use the cheats in certain things, and it wrecks the... You might be having fun, but if you can make a clip for YouTube and everyone has a YouTube channel, and you can make a clip and shit on somebody, it's fun, right? You're having fun. The people you're doing it to are not having fun. Small thing, not even cheating. Look at the people that are playing Arc Raiders in the last month and a half, and people, when someone they think is cheating, right, doing a wall hack or something, they go off the deep end. They're like, oh, these fucking cheaters, and they just assume that they're cheating, even though they're not. But then they stop playing the game altogether. They're like, oh, I'm done with this shit. You know, that's what happens when actual people cheat, though. Usually I had to buy off secondhand places, though, because the website was always sold out. Right now you can just get them on Amazon. All turns says $100. Nah, I'm okay. I'll play single player games or against the bots. Right, it's exactly right, all day, right? It's like, oh, you're better than me? You gotta be cheating, right? it's exactly right. If someone kills me, they have to be cheating. Yeah. There's times when me and Aku played Battlefield, not crossplay. Okay. We would play Battlefield, right? And then all of a sudden you would get killed and you're like, how did that guy shoot me through the container? Right? Like he killed you, you see that, and he never saw you, and you're like, this is why I almost don't like kill cam, because if there's a kill cam, you're like, that guy was cheating. But if there's no kill cam, you're just like, maybe he was cheating. Do you know what I mean? There's that little if of, we didn't see it, so yeah, it could be cheating. Big Mo says, I don't even know how to do all that shit. I got called a cheater. It's because you're so good, Mo. It's because you're so good. That's the first thing people throw out. Anytime someone you get, oh, you fucking cheated. It's like, I didn't cheat. I just got, you suck. You suck at the game. That's why. We only know what the Steam machine is not going to cause. That's right. That is true, Krabby. That's true. He played mouse and keyboard when everyone else was playing on controller. Aaron says, I bought the Astrobot, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, Returnal, all for PlayStation 5 as redeem codes for the random Facebook market guy. All three for $20. Did I get scammed? I don't think so. You got Astrobot, the game of the year, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, and Returnal, all for PlayStation 5 redeem codes. Did they work? Do they work? I mean, you did get scammed if they don't work. If they work, how would you get scammed? That's why I used to say every time I played COD and I was younger, anyone that could kill me, it was a cheater. Yeah, 100%. Aku says it's easy to see a cheater if there's is a beat to every game and translates to time. If the time takes to recognize a threat, aim to pull the trigger, so even also missing one or two of those actions is obvious. Yeah, if they work, then that's not a scam. Argus says you got swindled, not scammed. Well, $20 for 3 games. That's okay. I mean, GameStop would do the exact same thing. Being swindled, Argus, is when you go to GameStop, you buy a brand new game. It's like taking a car off the lot. You bring it back, 6 hours after you beat the game, and they're like, "I'll give you 15 cents." You're like, "Oh, you're gonna put that back on the shelf for $60." All right, I got lots to do because I'm packing today. I got to get everything prepared for our trip. We're leaving this afternoon, a little late this afternoon. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. Every single day, Monday through Thursday. It's holiday week. So I'm traveling. I'll be gone for Christmas. I'll be back next Monday for the daily grind. And then we continue on to the next year. So I appreciate it very much. I thank everyone for, even though it's not the end of the year yet, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, have a safe holiday season. I appreciate it very much. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We're doing this for years and years and years. I just like having conversations and entertaining you guys for the 2 hours a day. So again, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Snow falls softly on my window pane, but my game keeps stuttering again. I booted up, my heart is in the glow, but lacks the gift that I don't wanna know. I've been good all year, I swear. Santa, hear my game of prayer. All I want for Christmas is a stable frame rate. No more tears from the spinning, no more heartache. I don't need gold, I don't need fame, just a smooth frame. All I want for Christmas is a stable frame rate. Controller shakes in the winter night. Ooh, pixel snowflakes flicker in my sight. Friends are laughing in their cozy rooms while my frame per second is lost in a frozen gloom. I've wrapped my wish list tight. Santa, fix my screen tonight. All I want for Christmas is a stable frame rate. No more tears from the spinning, no more heartache. I don't need gold, I don't need fame, just a smooth frame. All I want for Christmas is a stable frame rate. I've got my heart cocoa, I've trimmed the tree, but all I see is stutter misery. If you hear